You can have a surprisingly strong cup of coffee. You can have a surprisingly strong opinion. But you can also be a surprisingly strong character. And hence my story. Several years ago, a friend asked me to help him at a flea market to load up the things that didn't sell and help him get them home. And in doing so, we were just about complete, and he points over to a table and he says, "Dave, take that stuff to the dumpster." And I looked over, and here's this beautiful quilt, and I'm like, "You don't mean that?" He says, "I most certainly do." And I says, "Well, that's not going to happen." He says, "Well, then take it with you." I know art fairly well. I didn't get a good look at it, but this thing was a thing of beauty. Anyway, I get it home and I lay it out on the floor, and let me tell you, this was really a remarkable piece of textile. All of the patches were put together in a crowfoot pattern. The colors were amazing, and then something caught my eye. And here in the middle of this quilt, this patch, sewn in with needle and thread, was the name of the person who created this, Mary E. Glockley. She abbreviated the month of December, DEC, and she dated it 1910. Whoa, this is really something. I think it was Howard Taft that was around back then as a president. So I kept it for some time, and secretly I really wanted to find a home for it, but I didn't know what direction to go. And one day in the newspaper, there's this obituary. And in the obituary, Mary E. Glockley, avid quilter. That was her whole story. So I contacted the family. Sadly enough, the timeline didn't match up. This wasn't the Glockley family that this quilt came from. I waited some time, put it on Marketplace, nothing. Contacted quilting people that restore things, and nothing there. So back on Marketplace. Check this out. We get a text message from Salt Lake City, Utah. "Hi, my name is Janet. I am a long-distance cousin of Mary Glockley. Of the Mormon Church, they're big into genealogy. And here she did an ancestral chart of her distant family, the Glockley family, and they were actually out of the Reinhold's area, Swamp Church there. Okay, cool. She says, "I'm coming to get it." Okay, well, there's no money involved. I'd like it to get it back to your family. So here she flies in from Utah, stops at her house, and continues with the story. Through her research, she found Mary's granddaughter, okay, Carol, living in Mechanicsburg. And this is where the quilt is going to go. Well, during this conversation, it was kind of getting late, and Jan went into the house, my wife Jan went into the house to take a call or something, and I mentioned to Jan, I said, "You know, it's kind of getting late, I have to retire." I says, "Where are you sleeping? Are you going up to the Holiday Inn or whatever?" She says, "No, I'm going to sleep in my car." Well, I said, I'm not going to let that happen. So I went into Jan, and I said, "Janet needs to sleep over in her spare room." Well, Jan gave me a look like I said to her, "Janet and I are going to build a campfire, have s'mores, and sex later." No, she just wants to sleep over. Besides, we don't even have graham crackers. In any event, the following day, Janet takes this quilt to Mechanicsburg, and we're texted via the magic phone a picture of Carol, the granddaughter, that remembers her grandmother Mary quite fondly over coffee and donuts, etc. And there's the quilt draped in front over a railing, and she's holding the ancestral chart that Janet made. This whole thing came full circle. And I'll tell you what, just being a little bit of a part in this, it really gladdens my heart. And I hope this story gladdens yours as well. Peace.